Thank fuck we have Screenrant to tell us how much better everything's going to be if they don't include anything from the book. Oh, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I mean, how many more of these are going to show up where, because they left stuff out, it's going to be better. They're doing it better than the books did it. The stuff they left out from the books, it's going to make the story better. Trust me. We are so much smarter than the author, Robert Jordan. Don't worry, we got it. Oh my God. How many more of these do we have to see before... Yeah, I guess maybe Screenrant freaking is the Screenrant owned by Amazon? Is that what's going on here? Why is every Screenrant article completely stupid? And it has some sort of excuse in it saying, oh, don't worry, they changed everything, but they're adapting this. But they didn't change enough. But they changed this, but it's going to be better. But they adapted this. They adapted Eye of the World, but none of Eye of the World's in it. But it's better because none of the Eye of the World's in it. Trust us, it's better. They're not going to adapt anything, but it's better because they're not going to adapt anything. But then the next article is, oh, they've adapted Eye of the World. Here's where they did. Oh, and this is what we left out. But don't worry about it. It's still the Eye of the World. How many times are we going to keep doing this? I know I just, like, oh my God. Like, what, how are we, like, why do we keep doing this? What, like, I know why, because they got to sell this piece of shit. But, like, come on. Just, just admit that you're just doing your own thing and you're not adapting shit. That's it. That's all. Just admit it. Admit you're not doing the books. Just to say you're not. That, and I would respect what you're doing a lot more if you just said, you know what? We stole the title. Because we wanted to try and fool all those guys that read the books into thinking this was, and some of them we may have done, so good. We got some of that audience built in. That's what we're doing. But no, we're going to keep pretending that we're adapting stuff. Like, we keep saying that Season 2 is going to be the Great Hunt and Dragon Reborn, which we all know it's not from everything we've seen. We know it. And now we're going to go back, we're going to retroactively go back and say, all the stuff they left out from the Eye of the World, which is 90% of it, it's going to be better because we didn't do that. So we're still adapting it, but we left all this stuff out, and it's going to be better. Trust me. Man, I couldn't hold that in. So thank you for being here. Thank you for finding the channel if you're here for the first time. 30% of you are not subscribed, so please think about subscribing. We're just going to thank you, Corporeal Lifeform, Salty Traveling Sea, and Amanda Manethrin for being channel members faithfully, my streaming brothers, my cohorts in the madness of the Wheel of Time. Check out their channels. They're awesome. Please think about subscribing to them, me, and, this is, the Wheel of Time Season 1 finale skipped 2 key villains from the book. However, the show's Forsaken story will be better without him. Well, it'd be nice if they actually start some of that story, because nobody knows who the fuck this guy is other than he's trying to sell me a used car. Half the places think that he's the Dark One. Half of them are saying he's Ishmael. There's not he's not crazy. He's not intimidating. He's not menacing. He's not smart. He's just a crybaby who's trying to sell Randall, that he's freaking Egwene and he's gonna become a freaking accepted of the White Tower. I think Rand is trying to go through the accepted trials to go to the White Tower, and he must be the curator of the White Tower. Maybe he's a shim. I don't know, but I'm so confused. Nobody knows. They don't even know. The whole point of, if you haven't read the Eye of the World, which most of you probably have, the whole point of Balsamon, not the Dark One, Balsamon. I know one means the other, but there's a reason, okay? Balsamon is batshit fucking crazy. We end up knowing why in later books, okay? I'm not going to spoil it. But he looks the way he does for a certain reason. He acts the way he does for a certain reason, and part of that is because he's freaking batshit crazy. Does this guy give off the impression of being batshit crazy? No. He puts the audience to sleep. It's not the actor's fault, I'm sure, but like they gave him nothing. He's got no emotion. Rand, do you want me to kill Egwene? 'Cause I can do it. You can save her. Oh, and you can save your baby. Fuck off. What are we doing? Oh, and you know what? Okay, let's read a little bit of the article, because by skipping two villains from the first book of the Wheel of Time, set up for a better Forsaken storyline. Bullshit. Lightly foreshadowed, very lightly, a fucking piece of shit chessboard. We don't know if he's supposed to be the Dark One. We don't know if he's Ishmael. Who knows who the fuck this guy is? Maybe he's Tom fucking off the corner street. Tom, hey Tom, you're now this guy. Who am I? I don't know. Tom fuckhead. Oh, hey, I'll go antagonize this guy. I'm crazy. Oh wait, I'm not crazy. I'm trying to sell cars. Like, what do we do? Like, what the fuck is happening? I've said the F word way too many times, and I'm not gonna bleep it out because I'm not sorry. As the show establishes jack shit. The Forsaken are a group of they say they're chess pieces. They don't establish jack crap. Extremely powerful channelers who pledged their lives to the Dark One. They were sealed away centuries ago, but gradually returned to menace Rand. Did they? Oh, you're talking about the book now. Well, I don't know why you're talking about the book. And others in the book version of the story. The book version of the story. The book version is the only version of the story. Screenrant. I don't know what the hell they're putting on TV. I can't wait to see the White Tower freaking animation. What's that going to look like? We're going to have a video about that soon. Salty Charlie C's got one. Check it out. It's going to be madness. I can't wait. Oh my gosh. Oh, these bags of fucking turnips, man. What? The same is likely in the case of the adaptation. I think you're assuming way too much if you think there's going to be more Forsaken. I don't even know, Lanfear is going to be misunderstood, and we're going to have to feel bad for her. The Dark One, widely believed to be Ishmael. Why? So why? What in the TV show makes you think he's Ishmael? Why? The only reason we know that he's Ishmael, or if he is the Dark One, then the show is really screwed. The only reason we have any way or reason to think that he's Ishmael is because of the books. The show gives us nothing. There's no reason to think that this used car salesman is anybody but the Dark One in the show. We're talking about the show. There's no reason to think from what they gave us in the show to think he's Ishmael at all. And I hope he's not. I hope it's Tom who's got corrupted by the Dark One's essence, and Tom car salesman or freaking horse trader is going to wake up and be like, what happened? Where am I? I'm Tom the horse salesman. How did I end up here? The Dark One went up my asshole, and then I freaking became the Tom evil car salesman, also known as the Dark One. I'm not Ishmael. Who's Ishmael? By all indication, Ishmael was the Wheel of Time's first Forsaken villain. What does that even fucking mean? Yes. Interestingly, though, this particular storyline actually includes two more. This particular storyline, the story includes two more Forsaken. Yes, it does. The Wheel of Time's Forsaken story is better without Bothamel and Agnor. Wrong. Wrong, you dumb fucking morons. It's not better. See, this is the bullshit. This is what that tips me, puts me in the frickin' red. Once again, we are better than Robert Jordan. We can tell this story that's sold millions and millions of copies better. This beloved by all these people. We can tell it better. Oh, let's pull out two major figures out of the book better. Let's take the Green Man out because who cares about the Green Man? Better. Let's screw up the whole end scene of the Eye of the World. Give it to the girls. Better. Let's take everything away from Rand. Better. Do you understand? This is the biggest problem I have with the whole thing. If you're just going to make a show and pretend it's Wheel of Time and not you can say, you know what, we're not really adapting them. We're just sort of, doing our own thing. I could at least have a little bit more respect for you. I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. But at least I could be like, okay, at least they're not lying to themselves and everybody. But they're lying. Straight up. This is not an adaptation. This is just some bad fan fiction. Hey, it's a Drakkar. What are those? Balthamol and Agnor were dead within the first two chapters, with the Green Men killing Balthamol and spoilers, and Agnor meeting the end by drawing too much of the One Power from the Eye of the World. The TV show's interpretation of these events notably excluded both villains and the Green Man, thus making the big fight at the end a bit less climactic than it could have been. Yeah. By a long shot. Instead, we have a bunch of freaking girls having a seizure and then falling out and dying, and then one of them healing the other one from death because that's possible. I can't wait for the explanation of that in season 2. I can't wait. However, not using these characters can be good for the show's future. Well, I think it's probably better for Balthamol and Agnor's characters because they escaped being on the show. And the Green Man, too. As their roles could have been negative impact on the Forsaken plotline as a whole. Unlike what they did to Ishmael, aka the Dark One, aka Tom the car salesman. That's not what they did. What they did to Ishmael, Dark One / Tom the car salesman. That's not hurting how the Forsaken look at all. Being as he's got no personality, he's boring. It's like he's falling asleep all the time. He's not menacing. He's not crazy. He's not devious. He's not cutthroat. He's not menacing. He's nothing. He's just like he's like a cup of chicken broth without any noodles or chicken in it. That's the Dark One. That's the Dark One in the show. He's just chicken broth with nothing, no seasoning, no nothing in it, just chicken broth. That's him. The Forsaken are meant to be seen as all-powerful, sinister figures in Wheel of Time. Yeah, because they did a great job making the Dark One look like that, right? Tom the car salesman's real menacing. Hence, why omitting Agnor and Balthamol isn't a move without its own merits. Rand seemingly already beat one Forsaken. Seeing 3 fall in the span of one episode would do very little to support Forsaken's fearsome image. You just don't get it, do you? So there's several things that this scene does. One, it gives the Green Man a fucking awesome goddamn send-off. So I guess if you're so fucking... I guess if you want to exclude the Green Man for some reason other than you're stupid, I guess not having Balthamol there, fine. But also showing the effects that the world has had on those two, and showing that they've gone freaking batshit crazy with power themselves. Also showing that the Forsaken, while powerful, are still men or women. They are still power hungry. They are still sinister. They are still greedy. They are still reach above their station to try and get power. And that is why most of the Forsaken are in the position that they are. Because they're greedy, self-serving, narcissistic, and will do anything for power, for immortality. They each have their own driving force of why they sold their soul to the Dark One. Agnor wanted power. He thought he could get it. He burned himself out because he's a greedy little piece of shit. It's also supposed to show that not only are they seen as all-powerful, they're not. It's to show that they can be beaten. Pretty much by Rand. Or by people that can use their brains. Or by a mythical figure called the Green Man. Who, the last surviving one of his kind. I think that would have been pretty cool to see. And Balthamol being taken out by the Green Man doesn't make him look like a pussy. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. Okay? So, these bullshit excuses why it's better for Balthamol and Agnor not to be there, making it so that I'm even going to give you a little bit of, even if this made sense in leaving them to not get killed, Making the Dark One / Ishmael / Tom the car salesman look like such a raving pussy himself erases all that. You know why? This is a guy that calls himself the Dark One. If it's Ishmael, he calls himself the Dark One. He believes himself to be that powerful. He's crazy enough to go around the world calling himself the Dark One. But then he acts totally contrary to what that should mean. He should hold himself above everybody. He should be talking down to everyone. He shouldn't be rubbing Rand on the shoulders, sticking a thumb up his asshole, going, "It's okay, you could join me, man. We can sell cars together. It's okay. You know, and I could give you your girlfriend forever, and you can have a baby. It's all good. Let's be buddies." I'm not. They're not going to appear. That's it. Why they may not appear with the show moving around in time and location, the characters' introduction as soon as. It could be assumed that Bothwell and Angor can always show up elsewhere. If you bring them in somewhere else, it makes even less sense. This is theoretically possible, but a detailed Wheel of Time episode 5 suggests otherwise. 8 statues are shown when villains were discussed. Yeah, great job foreshadowing your Forsaken, implying that the number of Forsaken has been reduced from 13 to 8. Yeah, so again, another complete misunderstanding. The number 13 is important for many reasons in the Wheel of Time, isn't it? Don't tell the writers. There's no way of knowing if this certain which ones have been cut out. But Bothwell and Agnor being minor antagonists, combined with the fact they weren't in the finale, make Jesus Christ. All right, I'm not gonna again. Once again, Screen Rant doesn't give two fucks. Okay. Bothwell and Agnor are important in their own right. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, the fact that you don't understand that they're important shows that you have no understanding of the actual the actual books or the actual thing that this show is saying they're adapting. Bothwell and Agnor are very important, actually extremely important in their own rights. Okay, so shut up. You're wrong. Stop telling us why the show is better than the books and why all these stupid decisions they're making are for the benefit of the show. The show is already a dumpster fire. Eliminating a cool scene where you could see some heroic events happen and give this man, Mr. Rand al'Thor, his due, and replacing it with an accepted trial for his I guess love interest. I guess it's gonna be his love interest. Giving him her scene instead of letting her do it, feminizing him instead of having them have a freaking bro fight. Yeah. Good decision. And then, we have a girl circle jerk where they have a little hula dance, and then instead of having Agnor burn himself out for greed, and sucking in too much saidin to try and overpower the Dragon Reborn, we have some girl who barely exists in the book who just kills her own kind because she's greedy and doesn't care. She draws too much of the one power and kills everybody in the circle, and including Nynaeve, who should be dead but she's not. Yeah, that's much better than seeing a Forsaken draw on a giant pool of saidin and fight it out with Rand and co. Eventually succumbing to being too greedy. Yeah, that's so much better. So much better. Thank you so much for man, I was so wrong. Watching a hula dance and everybody, a girl I've never heard of, or well, I've heard of her, but who cares about her? It's another character with one line said about her that we're giving a major plot point instead of giving it to the main character. Yeah, good job. Way to go. So what do you think? Tell me in the comments. Are we better off without Balthamol? Are we better off without Agnor? Do you think they're going to show up anywhere? Are we better off without the Green Man? Because saying we're better off without those two means we're better off without the Green Man too. What do you think? Are we? I think they're full of crap. I know most of you probably do too. Please like, share, subscribe. Subscribe. Please. 30% of are not. If you think this thing's going to be a dumpster fire, subscribe. Watch it burn down with me, along with some other content here coming out soon. And yeah, have a great day wherever you are. All hail the Lord Dragon, and we'll catch up to you in the next one. Later.